Right, hi everybody, it's John Glynn, and on this tutorial we're going to be looking at one of the other brushes from the toolbox, the Impressionist Brush, which will look like this in your toolbox area in Photoshop Elements 20. It's in other versions as well, and at the bottom here underneath your photo will be the Impressionist Brush. Okay, so you need a picture open to make this one work. And at the moment I'm just using a PC with a standard mouse. So I've got a normal brush. Size of brush can be changed through the little slider, or it's actually a bit quicker on the keyboard using your brackets. Left hand bracket makes the brush smaller, right hand bracket makes it bigger, just so you can quickly make your brush bigger and smaller depending where you are on your photo. And opacity is to do with how much you can see the effect. So we'll just do the effect to start with, whatever it is. I've just got it on normal and I haven't touched anything else, so it's just as I found it, with black as being the colour spectrum here. Everything's as set, nothing's been changed. So let's just move my brush around over my photo. With holding down the left mouse key, I have that effect. Okay, I'm painting with a black ink, and you can see various effects. I wonder if I've got anything on it on advanced. Yeah. Now under advanced you do have things like tight short, tight medium, tight long, loose medium. So if I just click these and I'll do the effect on here, you can see that the effect changes. Just one click with the left mouse key and you see the effect. Tight, curl, long gives you another effect. Okay, so these are just way that the brushes are working. It's very odd, but I'm sure for people who do painting it has more impact, and you can see it changes the color. If I click on the blue, I get blue. If I click on black parts of the picture, I get black or grey, depending where I click. Okay, I'm getting various color shades coming through. So it's a matter of trying them out under advanced. Try the different things you got. You've also got area. Well, I'll put all this back to normal. I'm just going to go back to the history panel, which you find in window in the top here, under history panel. If I click the word open and right mouse key, say clear history, and say OK, I'm now back to square one. Just makes it quicker than going through undo. Okay, so when you're in advanced you have different ways of making the brush work. You can do dabs, and then you've also got choices of area. So as you can see, lots of dabs, or reduce the area and you have fewer dabs. Okay, so if you're into painting, this might be useful. Tolerance, I will undo what I've just done, because I think again it's just easier to see what's happening when you do it bit by bit. Tolerance is 0, it works on everything. Advanced, up the tolerance, and now the brush works on less of an area. It's like looking at a tonal range of colours, so it may have a less of an impact if you up the tolerance. Okay, down the tolerance and it will start working pretty much everywhere. Okay, so tolerance is how much of an impact it's going to have on your picture in terms of colour and shade and tone. Okay, some areas it has a bigger impact than others, so even here it takes a bit longer to work even with a lower tolerance. It's looking at tonal ranges. Up the tolerance and it reduces the tonal ranges of the impact it's going to do. Now it does it on picks up tonal ranges. So you can play with that and see what effect it will have on your pictures. You're unlikely to use any of these in traditional photography, but you may well want to use this kind of thing if you're going to be doing landscape photography or something and create a little bit of a painting look to it. So again, I've just undone all of that. Other aspects you've got, I was saying about opacity. If I click, let's just do advanced, make sure everything's back to normal tab. I'll do short. There we are, back to what it was originally. It's just easier, everything's back to standard settings, and I down the opacity, and you'll notice that I can hold down the left mouse key and it does it the effect, but at a lower level, so you can see the original picture through it. Up the opacity and you can see the effect straight away. So opacity is how much of the background image is coming through your painting, because effectively you're painting a colour over the top of your picture. Okay, so changing the opacity will have a different impact on how much of the picture and the sort of effect you're going to give to your photograph. So it's a matter of trying them out, seeing if you like the effect and whether you'd ever actually use that in any of your particular photographs. The other thing you've got are brushes. If you click on the brush options, at the moment it says a circular default brush, but as with the other brush settings, you can change it to things like what we've got, assorted brushes, get some weird effects in there which may be quite interesting, sort of style of brushes you get. Let's go into special effect brushes. I do quite like these ones, and again you can try these out. They give you funny shapes and maybe quite effective over your picture. Okay, so it's having a go with these sort of things. It's how it picks up other colours around the picture, and obviously that it's 100% opacity. Just clear that, clear history, say OK, and if I go back down to opacity, reduce it, and you may get a slightly different effect, like looking through smoke or something. Okay, so it's a matter of trying them out, seeing whether you like the effect that you're going to get from the brush. Clear history. Okay, and the other thing you've got are modes. Now you don't have a lot of modes in these. I've just got on normal at the moment, but you may have hue, and you can see that it changes the way it works. If in this building it's making it black and white, it has an effect, a slightly different effect in the sky. It's changing the hue. If you change the colours, you'll get a further different effect. So it's a matter of trying these out and just seeing what the effects are going to be. If you try colour, you'll get different effects again. Let's undo some of all of that, because now doing effect over an effect, it's difficult to see what it's doing. Going into a darker colour, you can see it has an impact on your picture. So it's you are painting. The idea of this brush is effectively to turn it into some kind of abstract, well, the word is impressionist painting, I suppose, and it may well be quite effective on some types of photography, maybe landscape photography, possibly even this sort of old architectural sort of image. You could try and make it look like it's a very old faded photograph using this kind of effect. So it's a matter of trying them out, I think, and just seeing if you'd ever going to use them. the advantage of using it anyway, even if you decide never to use the actual brushes and effects that you've got here, is it teaches you to use the software and what the process is and where to find things in the software. Excuse me, how the designer has considered where things are, and that has a huge impact also on other tools and how you're going to use those other tools. So although you might feel that why bother, the whole thing is actually a learning process, and it just helps you to understand other parts of the program, and it allows you to play around and try out ideas that you may not have considered before. Okay, that's the Impressionist brush basically, and just a matter of going through it. So don't be afraid to change the brushes. Remember to put them back to default and choose a circular brush. Also, you've got opacity to play with, the size of the brush, changing the mode, the way that they blend, and look at the advanced options as well. Okay, just have a go with it. All of it helps you to understand other brushes and other tools. So it's a good way of playing around with the settings really in Photoshop. When you finish with it, rather than leaving your brush active, I would advise moving up to one of the neutral brushes at the top here, in the very top of the toolbar, or the toolbox rather, and click on the hand or the magnifying tool, something like that, because they don't actually do anything to your photograph accidentally. And it means that whilst if this brush is on, if you leave the Impressionist brush on and come back to the picture tomorrow and start clicking on a new photo, you'll immediately start changing it. Whilst if it's on the hand and you come back tomorrow, it's not going to do anything to any of your new photos. Okay, so it's best to leave it on a neutral area in the toolbox when you finish. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and have a go.